Hey guys, it's Maymay. I'm having so much fun looking for projects that can be gifts for people from you. This one, I think, might be one of my favorite things I'm ever going to do. It's going to be simple, it's going to be easy, but the idea behind it's going to be fun. So let's get started. So I found these primary journals on one of our distributors. I was actually looking for composition books, which I did find, and they are in store now if you need them. But this one is so fun. Let me show you. Some of you guys are like, we know what this is, Maymay. We have to buy these for our children. I don't remember ever having to buy one of these, so I have just learned about them. I am also always behind the curve. But I think this could be the cutest gratitude journal for your children or grandchildren. They would draw the image that they're grateful for here and then write about it here. And this is for kindergarten through second grade. So if you have children that fall in that range, even a little older, I think would enjoy this. This would be a great little present for Christmas. So let's get to making it. I happen to know a lot of you have this cardstock. This comes in Carson and also Caitlin, and I love this cardstock, and a bunch of you guys bought it recently. We do still have some, but a lot of you picked it up. I think this will be so cute for this. I'm gonna make a little boy one. I haven't made a boy project in a while, so I thought that would be fun, and you know, as a boy mom, they kind of speak to me. So I'm gonna look through here, and the first thing I'm gonna do is look for what I wanna put on the cover of this guy. So these little stars I just think are adorable, and I think they would be super cute on the front of this album like so. I'll show you a tip that I saw recently when I was looking up composition books. I saw where someone, to save paper, if you need to save paper, took this, they cut their 12 by 12 to the height of the album, then they cut this in half at 6 by 6, and what they had is what they used. So I'm going to do that to show you how that works, because I think it might save you some cardstock as well. So let's get this cut. This guy, my album, is 9 3/4 tall. I happen to know that already. I've already done the measurements. So I'm just going to put this star paper in and cut it to 9 3/4. And I think it'd be cute to have stars on the front and the back. Another thing, if you need to make multiples of these and you do them this way, you're going to be able to get a lot more out of your cardstock. Because like, for example, this pack that I'm using has 3 sheets of this one in it. So doing my album this way, I can make several that look alike, or just not have to cut whole pieces of 12 by 12 down to cover this section. When you do that, this might be confusing, I might be confusing some of you, but when you have to do that, you have to cut a piece that is about 6 7/8 by 9 3/4. And so what it does is it keeps you from being able to use one sheet to cover front and back. With this method that we're going to use today, I'm going to be able to do this and then add a pretty little decorative piece here and get a lot more bang for my buck. So that was really good to discover. All right, the next thing I'm going to do, I like to cover my composition books when I'm doing them in a full sheet of adhesive. I think that's really, really good for stability. And we're also going to talk about how I'm going to seal it at the end. But what I'm going to do right now is cover this guy with this. I think I'm going to cut this down to the size I need it, just to make things easier. Now I cut this down to 9 3/4 by 6 7/8, and that's what I'm going to use on the front of the album here. So now I'm just going to reveal one side of my adhesive. Just pick this up. You can do the whole thing or part of it, whatever works best for you. Then I'm going to come down here to the corner. I like to work here and here because I can see this area really well. I'm going to come down here, I'm going to line it up at the bottom and line it up at the edge. And I want it all the way to the edge, but it doesn't need to hang over. I'm just going to press this down like so. And I did overlap my black a tiny bit. I'm not too worried about that because I'm going to put another piece down anyway. What I don't like to do, I don't like to put anything on this area because you can see that it needs all that flexibility. So when you're doing this, try to avoid that little section as far as like cardstock where you can see here, if I had gone any further out, it would lift off, and you don't want to do that. All right, so this is what I'm going to be covering now. Let's flip this over. Do you see this that's sticking out? I might need to lift this up so you can see it. See that that's sticking out? Let's take a second and cut that away. You can do that several ways. You can use your scissors, or I like to use my finger blade and just kind of go around the edge and get rid of that. So just for saving time purposes and not having to think too much, I'm going to repeat this on the back so I'm at the same place when I get ready to cover everything up. So now that I've done this, I need to double check. Look at there, I would have been wrong. I need to make sure I have the front. I might even put a little pencil mark here to remind me that this is the front when I get ready to cover it. How about the whole word? There we go. All right, before I start to cover it, I'm going to do this. This is my embossing powder tool. I don't love the way the adhesive feels all the way to the edge. So if you take your embossing powder tool and just kind of burnish around the edge, like I can feel the sticky right here. But if I do this, it should take that away, or at least most of it. And if it doesn't, it will wear off over time. But I do like going ahead and trying to, you know, rub that down a little bit and get some of that powder on there. If you don't have an embossing powder tool, you can use cosmetic powder, baby powder, whatever you're comfortable using. Probably cosmetic powder. Some people use cornstarch, so if you're more comfortable with cornstarch, you can do that too. All right, let's go to our cover cardstock, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to peel this back, but I think I'm going to peel it from this way. That way I can leave that covered because I don't know what paper or what I'm going to put there just yet. So I'm going to peel my adhesive backer from this side. And I'm not going to peel it all at first. This can get a little bit tricky for a second. Let's just go about like that. I'm just going to lay that down. I just wanted to pull it far enough that when I go to put this cardstock on, I can still grab this one, and I will be able to there. All right, so now same thing. I like to look here and kind of pay attention to how I'm lining things up. So I will line up this side as well as the bottom. Make sure I get everything covered. Let's get that worked down. Then I'm going to peel this out just until it lays down. Just like that. Then while I'm working on the back side, I can just close this down and all that sticky's not exposed. All right, I'm gonna cover the back. But you know what I'll do first? I'll go ahead and do that same cutting on these corners like I did. Might can even do this with just a pair of scissors. Let's see. So I did those little corners with my scissors, just like that. Another thing you can do, I'm not going to do it on this one because I don't want to distress this album, but you can use like an emery board or a nail file or even like a sanding block and go around the edge and get that all nice and even. But I'm not going to do that on this one. I don't want it to have any distress. All right, I'm going to cover this side just like I did the other. All right, let's talk about what we're putting right here. I'm going to peel this away because I need to see it. It's not a whole lot. It's about 1 inch that I need to cover. And I could take that same strip that I just used, still using one piece of cardstock, cover this up, but instead of doing it the same side, do this side. The only reason I don't want to is because my lightning bolts on this one go a different way. But you could cut this piece in half, cut it down to 9 3/4, do this side and the other, and that might work. But since mine go the opposite way, I'm going to do something else. Let me show you. So I have 2 sheets of this in the book, and you know I love that black and white check, and I feel like it needs to go right there. So I'm going to cut 2 strips of that black check to use. So here we go. What I need to be sure of is I need to be sure that I get it right to my adhesive edge. If it doesn't match up here, that's fine. I can add something else where it doesn't meet, but I need to make sure it's going to match my adhesive edge, and it is. It's actually going to overlap a bit. Because it's going to overlap a bit, I'm going to take my wet glue and just run a little bit of glue where it will overlap so that I know I get good adhesion all the way down. I love that. That is so cute. I'm going to flip it over and do the back the same. Look how cute this is. What child would not love this already? Now, we still can do stuff in here, and I want to do something cute in here. But let's finish out here because I think this will be so cute. Let me show you what I did. So I went to my Cricut Joy. This is my extra, okay? It's the bigger one. And I cut this out. I cut out I'm Grateful For, and this font is so stinking cute, right? I'm going to share the link to this file so you can use this file if you want to. It was just a font on my Cricut subscription, so it's just on there if you want to use it. And if you want to use this very same one, you'll be able to do that. This is going to go on the front somehow. I'm not exactly sure how yet. I'm going to figure it out. But what I want to do, I want to find something to put on here that'll help it be real bold. I did this in white because I really want the wording to pop. So let me go through the paper pack and see what I want to put behind it. So I have this idea. I went ahead and went with black for my lettering because I really want it to pop. But I want to put color behind each one of these to bring them off the page more as well. So where I'm going to start is by placing my letters. That's what I want to do very first thing. So I'm going to my sticky folio for this, okay? And I know this is going to be a little bit fiddly. I knew that when I did my cut file. I did not make them connect. I just loved this font and wanted to use it. Let me show you how I'm going to take these letters off. I'm going to take my Cricut mat, and I'm going to curl it where my letters are. And when I do that, you see how I'm just kind of curling it? That lifts up one edge like so, and it lets me pull these off really easily without really messing them up. So put that there and start getting all of them the same way. I'm just going to curl that and get the tops and bottoms to lift, and that lets them come off really easily. If you're going to cut this at home and you're using a thicker cardstock, I'm going to tell you what I did. This is a much thicker cardstock that I use for these letters, and they're super thin, right? I set this to poster board, and I let it cut it with more pressure. That's how I got such a nice clean cut. It probably would have done fine either way. I was just a little nervous and I wanted it to cut right the first time. So I went with poster board, extra, I think it's called more pressure, and then just let it cut it that way. I know some of you are glad that I just have the words in order now. I know on that Cricut mat it was probably driving you insane that I didn't have them in order. I just didn't stress about it on my mat. I just cut them together. And this little dot right here, I really want to make sure I keep, because I think that also makes this look like child handwriting, or, you know, kids handwriting. Having that not capital I is so stinking cute. All right, let's get our little strips. All right, to the sticky folio, I'm going to peel this back, and I'm going to place each one of these on. Little dots, I'm just going to add a dot of glue to. Those will be fine. But for these guys, what we're going to do now is fold our little sheet back over, grab our tweezers that go with our folio. These have that flat piece here, so I can burnish and try to pick up as much adhesive on each letter as possible. Do take your time doing this. If you don't, you may not get as much adhesive as you think. The good thing is, for me, I plan to seal this guy down with some Mod Podge when I'm completely done. So it should be just fine as long as I can get them stuck in place on my little flag pieces. And honestly, I could have done this with art glitter glue with my fine metal tip, but when I have a tool like this, I like to try to use it. All right, I'm going to grab one of the little strips, and I'm going to peel my letters off. And I'm just going to start placing them. And the beauty of this little thing is, because we're using a childlike handwriting, we don't have to be perfect. I'll go ahead and put my little dot over the I. I'm really pleased with how the sticky folio did. I want to show you. Look how much adhesive came off for those. Isn't that awesome? And that is so, it makes that so easy when you're using those letters. Although these are pretty good size and they wouldn't be super, super difficult to work with. I love that though. All right, let's add our 3 dots. Too cute. All right, let's see what we can do to make these look like a little flag. So I'm going to go ahead and arrow cut the ends of these, like ribbon cut them. And I don't really care if they don't match, because my flags can be different. It won't be a big deal. So I am going to trim some of that off. Just like that. I'm going to cut a little bit in the center and then cut from corner to middle. I'm just going to do that to all 3 of them. Now I'm going to go back to the book, and I'm going to show you, I want this to be a flag at the top, this to be a flag next to it, and then this one to be a little flag at the bottom. I'm trying to decide, I might not do flags. I might just have them come out like this, because isn't that cute, kind of centered like that? There's so much you can do. I kind of like it like that. It would also be cute at the bottom or sideways. There's so many options. I have to decide how I want to do it. I think I want it to line up something like that, and I can always put something cute here, or I might even move this to the middle. What I'm going to do first, though, is I want to glue all of these down to bright cardstock underneath it, so that I can make them pop by cutting the little matte edges around them. So what I'm going to do is just glue these straight down. So I've got that one on there. I think I want to do Grateful on orange. And I should probably use another color, but I just really don't want to waste this little strip. Just trying to make the most out of this. So I'm going to put this one down here. Notice that I'm going a little far out. This one is going to have to travel from the edge for where I want it to live. So I'm going to glue this one kind of far out to give myself some room. I'm not worried about those lightning bolts here. They'll be so small around the edge that you won't be able to tell they're upside down. I just didn't want to cut a whole other piece just to get a bright border when this will work just fine, because I'll have yellow, orange, yellow, and that'll be fine. All right, now what I want to do, go to my trimmer, and I want to go beside these guys and cut a strip just about 1/8 of an inch away. Also, let me do this so I can get a better result. Let me do this. If you have these layer guides, they are great for this. I have this one that actually has the 1/8 inch piece. What I'm going to do is just use my finger blade and my layer guide and cut this so I know I get it just right. So now we have our little flags. Let's see what they look like. So if I have I'm here, and then I have grateful here. He's a little bit long. I'll have to trim him just a little bit. Just like that. And then for, I want it to line up right under I'm. Looks like I might could trim I'm a little bit if I'm going to cut grateful back. Isn't that cute? I like that the flags don't line up. I think that's super cute. What I need to do is make some pencil marks. And I'm going to do that right here so I know where to cut these. By the way, I want these to end here. I could take them all the way over, which might be super cute. Let's see what that looks like. It's not bad. It gives me a little more room over here. Or I could split the difference and add another layer. That's what I think I'll do. I think I'll take them all to that second black line there. And then I will add another little strip of something to give me something else over there. Okay, so I'm good with those two. They don't need to be trimmed down, but this guy does. Let me line up for where I want him. And then I'm just going to make a pencil mark where I need to trim. And trim that guy down. All right, let's get these glued into place. I'm even using lines to help me get it nice and straight, like using the little grids on our black and white there. That's pretty handy. If you've been around for any length of time, you know I'm a big fan of the stickers that come in these sheets. And I think these stickers might be cute. I might want to use this red one. Let's see how it looks over here if I put it right down the side to add a little something. I'm going to temporarily stick that there to look at it. That looks really cute. I also really like the stripy one here and that black one. The blue I think is a little too wide. That stripy one is super cute. Let me look at it. Yeah, I feel like it's the stripy one for me. So let's see what's the best way to line this up so I can kind of get the same amount of scallops at the top and the bottom. So what I'm paying attention to here is what is hanging over the edge. So you see I have a little bit of a scallop hanging over and then a little bit here, but they're kind of even. They kind of match up. I'm going to stick this down. Oh, it tore on me. It stuck to my finger so good. I'm a little bit crooked up here. That's pretty cute. Just a little something extra there to add a little more color. I like that. Let's trim it off. Okay, couple of things I'm thinking about the front. It would be super cute to add some items here. It'd be cute to personalize this if you know who it's going to. And I think it'd be so cute if you had like a hello, my name is kind of thing here, or this book belongs to. That would be adorable. That would be cute right there. I know I told you I wanted to put something here, but once I started to look, I decided not to, and let me tell you why. This is kind of a guide, notebook guide for how to use the book. And it also has the alphabet here. And I think this is very handy for the child if they need help knowing what a letter looks like. So I don't want to cover that up. Now, could I put a pocket in the back? I could. I could put more cardstock back here and put a pocket. But I really don't think it's necessary for what this book is for. Now, this is a great, quick, fast gift that you can make for a grandchild, a child, for your students, whoever needs it. The only other thing I would suggest, especially because this is going to be for a child, cover this with some Mod Podge. I plan to. I'm not going to do it because of the length of the video today, but I plan to take my Mod Podge and do a nice light sealant coat over the top of this, front and back, and just let it dry. So you'll do the front, let it dry for about 24 hours, flip it over, do the back, and then all of your letters are sealed in and it'll be nice and protected. You could do clear contact paper if you wanted to. If you were going to cover this with clear contact paper, I would cover it and then I would open this up and wrap my contact paper around the edges because it can get lifted off, and then maybe just use a border of some cardstock to kind of decorate that to hide that. But honestly, Mod Podge would do the trick. Don't overdo your Mod Podge. Don't super wet this, just a nice thin coat, and that'll be all you need. I love this. I hope you love it as much as I do. I love to do a composition book, and you know I would add a whole lot more to this, but I think this is enough for what we're going to use it for. I hope you enjoyed this one as much as I did. Don't forget to subscribe. I got more gift ideas coming. Super excited to share with you, and until next time, bye now.